Half of our goals kept see, there is no freedom of expression in politics. And if it's such a good purpose, it's always... I make it more a good day. When Abhishek and I were together in a case which I missed, I was busy defending your possible speech. I stayed up. Really? You can... That was a very relevant object. Your inference on the basis of all your evidence. You're the prettiest of the lot around here. Oh, these eminence.
This is Sharma is the chairman of our body.
Good evening. I'm requesting the distinguished speakers. Please come up to that. Most honored chief guest, distinguished speakers, and our friends and admirers of Dr. Katju. On behalf of Dr. K.N. Katju Memorial Committee, we all welcome to this 20th annual program in memory of Dr. Katju, which was started in 1987, the birth centenary year of Dr. Katju. From the very first program, we have the proud privilege to have stalwarts and great leaders speaking in this forum, mainly on the subject of judiciary, the first love of Dr. Katju. Every year, we choose a topic of national and international interest also. And this year, we have chosen the appropriate topic, separation of powers in Constitution and judicial activism. And rightly, we have chosen the chief guest and the speaker, to whom this topic is very clear. We are feeling honored, sir, to have you, respected Somnathji, as our chief guest today, who, in spite of his very busy schedule, today the parliament started, and the session is just, I think, finished. He has agreed to be with us. And when we met him, he had the highest regards for Dr. Katju, and he told us many instances where his father was a friend of Dr. Katju and used to appear with him. And we are extremely honored to have very distinguished panel of speakers like Mr. Fali Nariman, Mr. K.K. Venugopal, Mr. Arun Jaitley, Mr. Vinod Mehta, Dr. Abhishek Singhvi, none of whom you all require any introduction. To chair the program, we have our chairman of the committee, most respected Justice J.S. Verma Sahib. May I now request Justice Markandeya Katju to please present a shot along with a memento and a bouquet to our chief guest on behalf of the Katju committee as well as the family of Katju. I'm requesting the Joint Secretary Mr. K.K. Venugopal. Fali Nariman. Mr. Vinod Mehta. Dr. Abhishek Manusani. May I now request the chief guest, Somnath, to please pay some floral tributes and light the lamp in memory of the great leader, the great lawyer, the great statesman, Dr. Katju. Sir, we are.
सर एक बार सर दोबारा
Chandan Mala for Somnath ji. Chandan Mala.
सर हाथ
Thank you very much, sir.
Asked for a single individual to hold such positions of high office as Minister of Law and Justice in the interim government of United Provinces for 2 terms. Governor of Orissa, Governor of West Bengal, Union Home Minister, Union Defence Minister, and then Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh for 2 terms. Dr. Katju's father, Tribhuvan Nath, and grandfather, Badrinath, were both adopted from the Dar family. When his mother moved to her sasural, she was mortified at the thought that she also might not beget a male heir. She started going daily to the Shiva temple to plead with the Lord for divine intervention. Her panic increased when her firstborn was a girl and her prayers became more and more intense. When her second child, a male, was born, her joy knew no bounds, and as a gratitude to her benefactor, she named him Kailasnath. When her second son followed, she named him Amarnath. And when her favorite eldest grandson was born, he was named Shivanath. I have absolutely no doubt that if she had her way, the next male child would have been named Somnath. Dr. Katju imbibed three great qualities from his father, and that were never be dependent on anybody, because at the age of 13 he was in service. The next quality was honesty and integrity, and the last was that till his dying days he should not be a burden on anybody. And I think these he fulfilled, and this was imbued by his illustrious son. By sheer dint of hard work, Dr. Katju rose to the pinnacle of the legal system, and besides being one of the top lawyers of Allahabad, maybe he was one of the topmost in the country. His mentor and guru, Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru, clashed with him a few times, and it was always Dr. Katju who was victorious. But the guru was never jealous, and he felt very proud that his shishya has done so well. It is very, very rare in the history of the legal profession that a lawyer was in the forefront both in civil and criminal law. His success was so phenomenal that many of his clients attributed to him some magical powers and thought that his mere presence in court would help them win their case. Dr. Katju was humane to the poor and needy and held his own even with such personalities like Mountbatten, Gandhiji, Nehruji, Netaji. One can say that he could walk with kings nor lose the common touch. About the subject of today's lecture, it is worth mentioning a speech at the inaugural meeting of the Indian Law Review Society of Calcutta in 12th September 1948. He said, and I quote, "In the political structure, the legislature is supreme. It can make laws, repeal, amend and suspend them, nullify judicial judgments, and can do anything. It exercises power by process of legislation over the judiciary. When we talk of the independence of judiciary, nobody suggests that judiciary is independent of legislature. The voice of the people is represented by the legislature. The duty of the executive government is to administer law, to maintain peace and order. The duty of the judiciary is to see to it that the executive acts strictly in accordance with the law and the procedure which the law prescribes. In order to achieve this, the judgments should be rendered impartially, without fear, favor, or malice. When a judgment has been delivered, the executive government must make every possible step to implement the judgment." Unquote. What a clear enunciation of the cordial relationship of trust and understanding which is expected between the three pillars of a democratic state. I'm sure today's subject of discussion will certainly clear misunderstandings and lead to an interesting debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm requesting the living legend of law in this country, Mr. Fali Nariman, to start the debate on separation of powers in Constitution and judicial activity. Thank you very much. Please.
Honorable Speaker, Justice Verma, dear Justice Verma, who is really a father figure amongst judges, my friends on the dais, ladies and gentlemen, it is not without significance this evening that when we are discussing separation of powers under the Constitution, we have with us in the person of the Speaker and the former Chief Justice of India, two high representatives, two great organs of state, Parliament and the courts. In their august presence, I feel like the priest who was newly appointed to his parish and who went to make a courtesy call on his bishop. The bishop welcomed the new padri and solemnly told him that in his Sunday sermons he must praise those who are in heaven and never forget to condemn all those who are in hell. The priest shuffled a little and then excused himself, saying, "I'm sorry, my lord, I cannot, because I have friends in both places." I too have friends in both places. I have spent 6 rich and eventful years with lawmakers, learnt much from them. And I have spent a professional lifetime with lawyers and judges. Having been on both sides of the fence, let me give you my views as to when judicial power should trump legislative and executive power, and when, if at all, parliamentary power can or should trump judicial power. I think the truthful answer is, it all depends. It all depends on public acceptability of court decisions in high-profile cases. Judicial activism is a much talked about phrase, but really, it is only one manifestation of judicial power. A famous lawyer in England, Anthony Lester, recently described it, parodying Lord Acton's hackneyed phrase. He said, seeing what English judges do, he would have English judges say, and I quote, "Judicial power is wonderful, and absolute judicial power is absolutely wonderful." In India, the content and reach of judicial power is not defined, neither in our constitution nor anywhere else. Many believe that written constitutions that give powers to the courts to strike down legislative actions by the country's elected parliament is undemocratic. It enables unelected judges to thwart the wishes of elected representatives of the people in parliament. There may be something to be said for this point of view, but it is too late in the day to complain. For more than 57 years, we have been working a constitution which is federal in nature, with allocated subjects of legislation separately and exclusively given to states and to the union. There is a chapter on fundamental rights. All laws and executive action inconsistent with them are expressly declared to be void. Some authority then must be found who would be the final arbiter in a controversy. And under our constitution, that arbiter is ultimately the country's highest court. It has been said that where there are no judicially manageable standards, our courts should not interfere. They should leave it to the elected representatives of the people. This has been said in some judgments as well by former Chief Justice Verma. That is correct. But then, that is correct only in theory. After 60 years of independence and after 14 general elections to the Lok Sabha and all the publicity that is given to proceedings in Parliament, ordinary people who have voted their elected representatives into Parliament, remain generally unsatisfied as to how members of Parliament function, if and when they function at all. Almost every session of Parliament during the last few years has been marred by some dispute or contention of the moment, sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, not of any grave national importance.